Novak, how Goran came to your team, the conversation, how it happened, and what do you hope he'll bring to your weaponry going forward?
Well, it was very simple. I gave him a call, and after I spoke to Marian, who who was supportive of that idea, and I called Goran and asked him whether he's available to come to Wimbledon, and sort of give it a try, and have a little bit of a trial type of a tournament where we get to know each other and see how it works. So I'm really glad that he accepted and he came over, and I don't know if he will be able to stay for the whole tournament. I mean, depends how I go, but he's got some commitments in the second week. But everything so far has been working really well. We've known each other for a long time, so it didn't take too much time for us to really feel comfortable one next to another. I mean, we've been friends, and I've seen him around the tour in the last 7-8 years a lot, because he coached 3 top players that I've played against many times. It's nice to have him on my side of the net this time, and he's a great guy. He's someone that obviously is a Grand Slam champion and a top player for many years, and I looked up to him because everyone from the region was supporting him when he was playing, and he was kind of a hero of mine. I grew up also training with Niki Pilic, who was coaching him as well, and he was coaching the Croatian Davis Cup team and Serbian Davis Cup team. So there was a lot of connection. We're back a long time, since I was, I think, 13, 14. That's when I met him for the first time. He was. Excuse me?
Why? What are you hoping he'll bring?
Well, first of all, I get along with him very well. I thought I spoke to Marian, and we both agreed that we're looking for someone that was a former champion, someone that knows how I feel on the court, someone that has been through that, and we agreed with a concept, so to say, on an idea of introducing a new coach to our team, an addition like Boris Becker was back some few years ago, and it was a very successful period with Boris, and we're hoping that we can have the same with Goran.
Novak, can you recall your first Wimbledon and what you remembered, the sights and sounds and memories? I mean, did you come out on a tube, or did you get transport out? What do you remember being out here walking around? What struck you?
The first time, yeah. Yes. Well, that was first time I played qualifications for Wimbledon. Was the first time that I ever played on the grass court. I've never seen a grass court before. That year, I think I was 17, and it was quite a unique experience for me. Obviously, never playing on this surface and dreaming to be part of this tournament, and eventually one day get a chance to win it and do it on the center court. That was something I always dreamed of, always visualized when I was younger. And because the qualies are played in a different location, you're kind of... I think they're most special qualies of any tournament, because you have so much pressure and you play best of 5 in the last round, because the reward is having an access to this club, which is very exclusive club, and so for me it was a family affair. When I won my last match in the qualifications, I remember I beat Wesley Moody, who won doubles Wimbledon. He was a very good player on grass and saved a couple match points. And as soon as I qualified, my brothers booked a flight, my parents, my whole family came over. It was a great experience. And I think I got to round 4 actually. I played pretty well in my first year in Wimbledon, and ever since then, this tournament has a special place in my career.
As a defending champion, getting the honor to open play at center court, what were your reflections, perhaps today, perhaps in the days leading up to today, about what got you back to that championship last year and what you endured to get to that point?
Well, obviously, it is a great honor, greatest honor probably in our sport. You know, to play as a defending champion on a untouched grass. I've been privileged enough to have that experience several times in my career here in Wimbledon, and every time I step on the court, I reflect on what has happened the previous year, especially if you come as a defending champion. So I did kind of go through the feelings and rewind those memories and the last championship point against Anderson last year in the finals. It was a quite a different situation or quite different circumstances 12 months ago, and now obviously approaching this tournament now has been different for me. I think I have a bit less pressure, more confidence in my game. Last year I was dropped out of top 20 of the world, and I was still struggling to, coming back from injury and surgery to find the desired level of tennis. And it was a huge importance to win this trophy for me. And it was a transition that I was looking for. And this is the biggest tournament in the world. And to win the trophy here just meant a lot for me. I felt a huge relief. And after this tournament last year, I started to play my best tennis, and that got me to #1. So it does have a special place in my heart for many different reasons.
Novak, looking at the match specifically today, it felt like it took a few games for you to settle into your rhythm. Was it championship nerves, or was it just getting used to the court again?
Well, both. I think there's a lot happening obviously when you step into the court and as a defending champion, and the importance of this tournament. I've emphasized that. I mentioned that before, and regardless of the fact that I have experience, I've played on this court many times. I did experience this particular sort of say role or situation before, but still, I'm a human being as anybody else. I do feel nerves and then at the same time I had a great quality tennis player across the net who is very dangerous. I lost to him earlier this year, so the break in the first game wasn't the start that I was looking for, but I think I came with the right intensity. I answered back really well, and then from that moment onwards I played pretty good match. I thought it was a good quality. I held my serve well. And of course, the first match, and you slip a few times, and you're still kind of finding the right position on the court, the right play. But I'm overall satisfied.
Ben?
Novak, this is the first year that female players aren't being referred to by their marital status. They're no longer being called Miss or Mrs. during announcements of scores. Is that something you welcome as a greater equality between the sexes, or how do you feel about that loss of that tradition at Wimbledon?
It's the first time I hear it, to be honest. I don't know, to be honest, how I feel about it. I mean, I thought that tradition was very unique and very special. I thought it was nice, but what is the reason for that?
I think just to bring more equality between the sexes, the men are not referred to as Mr. and they didn't want to keep referring to the women as Miss or Mrs. whether they're married
Okay,
or not.
was there a complaint from the men's side for that? Or?
I don't think it's from the men's side. Would you prefer to be called Mr.?
No, I really don't mind. But I mean, sure, if that is the reason, then why not? I support that. But it's definitely not easy to alter or change any traditions here that have been present for many years. So it's quite surprising that they've done that.
Novak, Justin Gimelstow, I believe, is in London in the last few days as all this player council stuff is going on. I'm curious if you've been in touch with him and if you would consider him for getting his seat back when there's another, because it was Weller Evans is in an interim sort of role there. If you think Justin would be able to come back to the seat in however many months.
Yes, well, I have friendly relationship with Justin, so he did advise me when he was in London, so we saw each other shortly, and you know we keep in touch through the phone. I'm not sure, to be honest. We haven't really been talking about his potential candidacy for any role. He has a lot on his plate right now. He's dealing with a lot of things, back home and family and everything. So it's not an easy period for him, but also not for ATP, And but I'm glad that at least majority of the players stayed in the council. After the meeting was done a couple of days ago, I did say that I understand the players that have resigned. A very, so to say, a turbulent meeting, if I may call it that way. But we all there try to, volunteer and contribute as much as we can for a positive change in our sport. Now it's Weller Evans has been appointed as a interim player representative role for 6 months, and then the process will be reopened towards the end of the year. So whoever has an intention to run for the America's board representative can do so in November.
On that open seat, have you ever thought, there's 3 open seats now on the council, have you ever thought of only filling 2 of them, so you have an odd number and stop tying all the time?
Yeah, that's a fair point. We talked about a little bit about the structure, but I think the last meeting and what has happened and the whole process with Lapenti and Evans and the deadlock that has carried on from Rome to here was quite unique. I don't think it has happened before, to be honest, in the history of ATP politics. So I think there has to be some form of change in the structure. I mean, there has to be something else has to be implemented, and they have to figure out ways. And that's not our job. We can obviously have conversations and suggest something, but it's up to the management and the board reps to come up with some solutions. So we're waiting for them, and hopefully can have some good solutions in the future.
Novak, you referenced playing a part in Goran's preparations for the
Yes.
2001 tournament. What exactly was your
Wasn't
role?
Didn't he tell you that was essential for his win here in Wimbledon? Me bringing him the snacks. Actually, that's what happened. I mean, he was in Niki Pilic Tennis Academy in Germany, where I have spent quite a lot of time between age of 12 and 16, and it happened to be that famous 2001 when he received the wild card here in Wimbledon, and he came over to the academy for several weeks. And so I had the permission to approach him while he was training and to bring him some snacks because he was hungry. He was training a lot, and of course I was there every time he was on the court. I was observing, I was learning, I was watching, I was supporting. And Niki, who is my tennis father, as I like to call him, had a big influence in his career, in his life as well. So there was this connection early on already, and I think those snacks really made a difference for him in Wimbledon.
Listen, well, you weren't born when Bjorn Borg won 5 times here, and that time everybody thought it was unbelievable. Now you have won 4 times Wimbledon, which is not too bad. And well, I mean, do you realize that? I mean, because Federer has won 8, so that seems. But I mean, 5 times. I mean, thinking to win 5 times the tournament which you were dreaming of when you were a kid.
Yes.
What that?
I guess the first time is always very special, and I every time I won here, I had that positive change in my career. Just it seemed like the win in 2014 was exactly what I needed, and last year's win as well, to kind of turn things around, get that confidence, prove that I can win slams again, you know. And because between 2011 and 14, again, I was winning Australian Open, but the other events I wasn't winning, you know, the other slams, and so that was a big win against Roger in 5 sets, and then next year again against him in the finals. And I mean, it's hard to describe it, you know. Every you know, there's always extra importance approaching this event comparing to any other for me. I mean, and probably for many other players. You know, this is the tournament I think a lot of players dream of playing on. And
Did you remember anything?
No, no.
Saw him on film?
Yeah, well, yes, documentaries and films, yes, but live, no. I was still not here with you guys, but I did grow up watching Pete Sampras. You know, obviously Goran and guys like this, and you know, Borg has won 5 times in a row, if I can recall well. So that's an ultimate challenge, I guess. You know, winning the biggest tournament in the world in a row 5 times. I think Roger has done it as well. So it's those are the biggest names of our sport of all time. So it's, you know, to be kind of considered to be close to that group is an honor for me.
We have one more question.
Yeah, so going back to Goran, from the outside, it feels like with the scheduling problems and everything, it's similar to what you tried to do 2 years ago with Andre Agassi.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you convinced that it's going to work perhaps a bit more profitably than that perhaps did?
Well, it just depends. I mean, with Andre, that was a tough period for me. I had 6 months off because of the elbow. I start to work my way back on the tour. Then surgery came 2 months later. Then the recovery from that, and then it's just it was, you know, those kind of circumstances were not really in favor of my relationship and collaboration with Andre. And but you know, it's a different time now. I'm healthy, knock on wood, and playing well. And Goran is someone that is comfortable traveling. He has done that with several different players he has worked with in the last 5-6 years. So as I say, you know, it all depends how we both feel after this tournament. You know, we're gonna give it a try, and we're gonna, of course, you know, advise with Marian, who is, you know, still my coach. He's there, and we all have to feel comfortable with that decision, whatever the decision is.
Okay, we need to go to serving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stavo baš na ruku,
Si dobro?
Može, kef. Eksi ekip.
I'm not Serbian. I'm not Serbian, but I can speak.
Mala. Kako ti se čini, ne znam, nisam bio od početka na engleskom, ali ako je bilo, ne možeš da govoriš, kako ti se čini brzina podloge? Neki kažu da je sporija u odnosu na prethodnu sezonu, na centralnu.
Obično kada prvih nekoliko dana je dosta klizavo i verovatno je podloga malo brža upravo zbog toga što se nije igralo na njoj. Ne osjećam neku značajnu razliku, iskreno. Moguće da, definitivno je, kažemo, sporije u posljednjih 5, 6, 7 godina nego što je to bilo u prvih 5, 6, 7 godina moje igračke karijere. Evo, baš sam pričao i sa Goranom juče o tome i on je rekao da je velika razlika u odnosu na ono vreme kad je on igrao, da je to bio kao led, mislim, to, i loptice su bile brže i onda prosto za servere je to bila velika prednost. I da je niže odskakala loptica, u stvari to je verovatno najveća razlika. Plus loptice koje deluju da su malo čupavije, da su malo veće i sporije nego što je to bio slučaj pre, ne znam, 10-15 godina, tako da s te strane gledano verovatno jeste, da, malo sporije, ali ne osjećam neku ogromnu razliku između ove godine i recimo prošle.
Kako se vi sjećate finala 2001.
Pa bio sam u Hrvatskoj kada se to finale igralo. Da, bio sam u Umagu i pripremao sam se za turnir u Umagu i bio sam sa celom mojom porodicom i sećam se da, naravno, cela Hrvatska je to gledala. Bilo je jako uzbudljivo finale i 5. set i Goranove duple greške na meč lopte i na kraju asevi i hrabrost. Mislim, stvarno, uzimajući u obzir sve ono što je on proživeo do tog trenutka, taj trofej je definitivno jedan od, da kažemo, njemu najdraži, a jedan od meni onako isto dražih u mojem detinjstvu koje sam doživeo ovako gledajući, jer sam se ja gledavao na njega, naravno, kao predstavnika našeg regiona i velikog šampiona. To je bio san, da kažemo, i njegova i svih nas. Mislim, ja sam nekako od uvek sanjao da igram na Wimbledonu, da učestvujem, da osvojim Wimbledon, tako da on kada je to osvojio, jedan od naših, onda osjećaš da ti možeš. I dao je krila, kako kažem, i meni i svima nama.
Mnogo se pričao o toj saradnji sa Ivaniševićem. Kad si došao na tu ideju i da li si se čuo sa Pilićem i šta je on eventualno rekao po tom pitanju?
Nisam se sa Šornikom čuo, jer je to sve, da kažemo, relativno se brzo dogodilo. Ja sam razmišljao neko vreme, već i pričao malo sa Marijanom na tu temu, da se opet priključi neki bivši šampion, legenda našeg sporta, neko ko, opet kažem, je bio u mojim patikama, razume, neko osveženje da nam je opet trebalo, i sa generalnim, da kažemo, konceptom, idejom se Marijan složio. Nismo pričali specifično o imenima, ali sam imao Gorana definitivno u top, da kažemo, 2-3 tenisera, to je čoveka o kojima sam razmišljao u tom trenutku. I onda smo razgovarali nakon Roland Garrosa, zapravo pred dolazak ovde, i Marijan je bio saglasan sa tim i dopalo mu se, jer mentalitet i, kako da kažem, dolazak sa istog područja, sve to igra na ruku nekako, jer se razumemo dosta dobro, lepo smo se slagali tokom posljednjih 7-8 godina koliko se viđamo na turu. On je radio i sa Raonićem i Berdihom i Ćilom i ja sam igrao protiv njih, tako da je lepo imati ga sa moje strane mreže i jako je malo trebalo da se razumemo i povežemo odmah na terenu. Mislim da dosta smo i razgovarali preko telefona i on i sa Marijanom i tako dalje i već je ta uvodna neka usmena priprema bila, a on je neko ko zbog toga što je trenirao moje rivale, on je studirao moju igru dosta dobro i poznaje je i onda je vrlo interesantno čuti sa njegove strane koje su tu neki, kako da kažem, elementi igre i stvari koje mogu da unapredim i da budem još bolji.
U perspektivi, da li to, ako saradnja potraja, znači malo lakši raspored za Marijana i ako možeš neku sitnicu da nam otkriješ, ako možeš, u stvari, šta ti je Goran rekao na konto igra tvoje?
Pa da, pričali smo o različitim segmentima igre, mislim, njegov servis je bio jedan od najboljih na svetu i naravno i on i ja osjećamo da mogu da napredujem još više u servisu i pričali smo, da kažemo, o tim nekim tehničkim detaljima koje ne bi da otkrivam u javnosti, naravno, o kretnji i tako dalje, stavu i poziciji na terenu, to su sve neke tehničke stvari sad, da ne ulazim u to. A prvo pitanje je bilo, izvini...
Što se tiče Marijana, da li...
Marijan, da. Pa mislim, pre nego što je sezona krenula, ja sam se sa Marijanom dogovorio da će on će pokrivati određene turnire i deo sezone, one turnire koje on nije trebao da radi, trebao je da radi moj brat Marko, ali u ovom slučaju sad, kažem, vidjet ćemo sa Goranom kako će to biti posle Wimbledona, da li je to iskustvo i meni i njemu prijalo, da li želimo da nastavimo dalje, da li možemo da se uskladimo, uklopimo. Ako se sve to bude uklopilo, onda će on dolaziti na neke turnire koje budemo odredili sa Marijanom. Hvala.
Hvala. Yes.